Nicci Sawyer, and I'm here with Lisa Stadelman today. Lisa was one of our Paws in Prison participants and a graduate of the program. And Lisa has now gotten out and is doing amazing. I'm super proud of her. And so she has agreed under lock and key to sit down with me and talk to me today and just tell us a little bit about herself and the program and hopefully inspire somebody out there, as I know she's inspired me a lot. So go ahead, Lisa, introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, I'm Lisa. I'm Lisa Stadelman, and I'm in San Angelo now. I was in the Paws in Prison program for a month shy of 5 years. Let's see, I'm been out for almost a year, month shy of being out a year. I am the owner of Pawsitive Prodigies, and I've been officially in business since April. I was training for a couple of months, family, friends, stuff like that, for about 3 months. And then I took that leap of faith, and it has just grown wings and flown.
Wow, I know that that feels good. It's got to feel good to pretty much be dumped out of prison because that's all they do. They pretty much dump you out here, have a nice life, and hit the ground running and hit it running so positively that look at you now. Look what you're doing.
Right?
Yeah.
Amazing life. I'm having an amazing life.
All right. Well, I want to hear all about that amazing life, but I want to hear how we got there. Okay. So, Lisa, how did you ever end up in prison and finding the Paws in Prison program that you spent almost 5 years in?
Well, I mean, my story is not very different than most addicts in active addiction. Um, there's years that I used, and there were years that I was clean, and a lot of chaos, a lot of self-loathing, um, and then they finally get you. A lot of running from the law, just your life spinning and out of control, and everybody around you going, what's going on? What can we do? And nobody can do anything, you know. And finally, I got arrested, and it stuck. And I got a 10-year sentence with a drug-free zone.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So, what were some of the feelings? I mean, I know a lot of people out there that are watching this are going, okay, well, a 10-year sentence with a drug-free zone, but what exactly does that mean?
Well, I knew going in that I was probably going to do time. As you know, I had a sick husband, and the judge allowed me a furlough, and that told me one or two things was going on. I was either going to get a lot of time, um, or or he was going to give me see if I showed up and would reinstate probation. But normally I'm a runner, and I wouldn't go. Well, I got clean before that because I had to take care of what I had to take care of. And so I went to court, and he gave me 10 years, but he didn't say drug free zone. And so I went, as you know, you were there. I went for many years waiting for parole. I got denied a couple times. Then I made parole. And then they came back and gave me the drug free zone, which means I had to do 5 years flat. And I'd made parole after three. So I had to do another 2 years.
Lisa, I remember the day that that happened, and like you said that I was there. We were in the program together, and I cherish those times. I know that they weren't always the best of times, but I know it made us the women we are today for sure. And so, women in prison hold on to the hope that it's not forever. They hold on to the hope that it's temporary, right? And you got that rug pulled out from under your feet, yet you kept going. Why?
Well, that wasn't the worst part of it. You remember, they took my answer, and the very next day, my husband died. And, you know, there was no time for me to fight with the legal system or scream it wasn't fair. I was really just going through the motions for a couple of days. And, you guys were there. And had it not been for that program and my friends surrounding me and the dogs, it would have been a totally different scenario. Had I been in a regular prison, it just would have been different. I had so much encouragement. Um, it, you just keep putting one foot in front of the other foot and making plans and making plans. And all of a sudden, all the plans that I had of going home and training a dog for Mark, that wasn't the plan anymore, because he wasn't there anymore. So then I started thinking about what I was going to do with my life. Um, and I asked myself, what would I do if I could get up every morning and get paid to do something I love? And that was train dogs. And so I started planning, very quickly about what that was going to look like, how I was going to put it together, timelines. I'd collected a lot of reading material. And I have been doing those things. I didn't plan on training dogs for at least a year when I got out, other than family and friends. And I took that leap of faith, but the program it offers videos. It offers Miss L coming in training, and then girls that you've done time with. They get out and they get a taste of the real world, and they come back and they go, "It's so different," you know. And then so you ask questions and you find out, what is this, what is that, and that's really what my life was. The last 2 years was planning my future.
Right. Well, I know that you're a planner, and so planning your future, I mean, it pretty much just unfolded faster than you thought it would, which is a godsend. For God to say this is the path you're supposed to take, and it just shows you that your faith was in the right position, and that God blessed you bountiful the whole way through it. So, what were your goals when you first entered the program? Were they to get out and train dogs, or were they just, I know that part of it was to train a dog for Mark. As you mentioned, your late husband, was home and was sick. But when did you know for sure whether it was to train a dog for Mark or to get out and, of course, now do your business? When did you know for sure that this was something you, number one, were good at, and number one, that you could wake up and do every day?
Well, I went in. I originally had was in a different prison, and I put in to go to Patriot Paws because my goal was to train a service animal because Mark was paralyzed, and I wanted to train a dog to pick up a stick. That's what I wanted to do. That's all that was my goal. And I've still never trained a dog to pick up a stick. I don't guess, pick up other things, but never a stick. But I ought to do that. But it was probably a couple of maybe a year or so in that I thought, that this might be something that I could train therapy dogs. It unfolds, it evolves the longer you're in there. And then I really love problem solving. But it was only after probably the third or fourth month after Mark had passed that I decided this was how I was going to support myself. This is what I was going to do when I got out, and I was going to do it to honor him. I was going to do it because I enjoyed it and it brought me peace, and I was pretty decent at it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think that you're a true inspiration. I really do. I love you to pieces. So I'm not like tiny pieces, but you know what I'm saying. So I know that the program has changed and has evolved a lot, and we talk a lot about what the program gives, but give a little overview of what the program does. Like, so a person gets into the program, and then what happens? What are these levels we keep hearing about? What is the ultimate goal, or should be the ultimate goal, of any participant that enters it?
Well, you can tell, Nikki, by the people who you can tell by success stories. I said I don't even remember who I was having a conversation with, but there were those of us that were very competitive with each other. Sometimes it was a little bit cutthroat. Sometimes, I mean, it was dog eat dog. But those of us that lived and breathed that program are out here making a living doing that, because that was our life. And a lot of people that get in that program, that really wasn't their life, and they would get caught up doing other things. Now, when people first come, we interview them,
Mhm.
and sometimes we get suckered, and people are in there for the wrong reasons, but the majority people get in there, and those of us that have had the opportunity to be a mentor, you know we get to watch those people grow. They go through
Absolutely.
the freshmen, and by the way they handle that freshman stuff, if they're in it for the right reason, and if they're gonna really do this thing. And I mean, we knew by the time what people were juniors, we're like, no, this one is gonna train some dogs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's so key for people that are watching that might not know about Paws in Prison, or they're very curious about Paws in Prison. Yeah, they want to adopt a dog, but it is who's saved too. And so they're really curious
Yeah.
about the women that go through it. And and then they see the success stories online. And I don't really think that it's enough out there that how molding the program really is. It really gets you ready to be a employable employee, or run a business of your own. I know that I knew no such thing as time management until going through that program, and now I think I
Yes.
manage my
Yeah.
time very well. So,
Yes. Yeah.
absolutely. So I have a couple more questions, Lisa. I told you no surprise questions, and I'll try to stick to that. And I'll go a little off base, but you've done great. So, how has your life changed? How are you different than you were, obviously, going in? And what would you give back to the program if you absolutely could?
I guess how I've changed is I'm very confident, in what I do. I started out kind of willy nilly, just kind of jumping around until it's like, and I could hear myself saying, just breathe, just breathe. And then I would go back to what has worked in the past and do those things. And she's available, y'all are available, you know, um, and I've used y'all. I'm like, this dog is, and getting feedback and all that. But the big thing is when I got out, I went to my daughter's, Tyler in San Angelo with her husband and their 4 children, and I had a huge amount of support there. I mean, I can't even tell you how my life, I was just so blessed. They gave me a hand up. There was support. Getting my license was such a huge ordeal. Golly, and failed my test twice after I even became eligible, to do, because I hadn't been behind the wheel of a car in 100 years. So now I'm driving my own little car. I can get in it whenever I want to. I've started this business and realized at some point I can do this however I want to because it's mine. It's something I work for, and all my stuff is word of mouth. I do a little bit of advertising, but I'm not real good at the computer stuff yet. But I know you've seen some of my stuff. I'm working on it, but I have happy customers. I have a happy life, Nikki. I have a real happy life. What I'd like to get back to the program is after I have been out for a couple of years. I would like to offer one or two of the people there that are really, really pushing and they don't have anywhere to go, a place to stay, a place to work, and give them the same support that was given to me. And because that makes such a difference. If you've got somebody that's saying, this driver's license stuff is scary, but you can do it. Because there were days when I was like, I'm just going to drive that license. I don't even care. It was just so hard. But you got to have somebody in your corner, and that is what I'd like to do. And hire them. I'm going to give myself 2 years in the business, and then I'll give somebody a job, and set them up like I was set up.
That is absolutely amazing. And you brought tears to my eyes because I know I said earlier in this interview that TDCJ is just not equipped to help. The reentry system isn't what it should be. And inside, a lot of the walls aren't what they should be. However, with
For
the
sure.
with the meat that the Pawsitive Prison program can give the girls if they want it. I mean, it's available if they want it. Of course, they have to want it. And then the getting out's a little bit easier, but still.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
understand. I got out with a bus ticket and $50, and actually I didn't even get out with $50. I am lying to you. They took it from me. So
Yeah.
yeah, so give or take, it is what it is. But you are showing people out there that rehabilitation in prison is possible. You are showing people out there that making life changes is possible if you want it. And Lisa, you are a true inspiration. You really
Mm,
are.
thank you.
You're welcome. I just want to really, really thank you for meeting with me today. I know you're super busy and I appreciate you taking the time
No, I
to
love it.
meet with me. And we'll hopefully we'll do this again in like a year and it'll be even bigger and we can give somebody else some more inspiration out there. How does that sound?
Okay, great.
All
Thanks for
right,
having me.
girl. Thank you for coming for me.